The year was 283 after the conquest, and the Seven Kingdoms stood on the brink of ruin. Prince Rhaegar Targaryen had taken Lyanna Stark from the Riverlands. Whether by love or by force, none could say. But when her brother and father rode to King's Landing demanding justice, King Aerys II Targaryen answered with fire. Lord Rickard Stark and his son Brandon burned in the throne room. When the Mad King demanded the heads of Robert Baratheon and Eddard Stark as well, the realm chose sides. Jon Arryn called his banners. Robert Baratheon raised his warhammer, and the dragons were challenged at last. Months of war followed. Castles stormed, loyalties tested, armies broken and reforged. Robert won 3 battles in a single day at Summerhall. Lords declared, defected, or died. And at last, beneath the red autumn sky, the rebel host met the royal army at the chief crossing of the Trident, where the King's Road and River Road met. Prince Rhaegar himself had returned to lead the crown's host. If the rebellion was to end, it would end here. The river ran swift and cold, and both armies marched toward it. The royal banners glittered red and black along the opposite bank. 3-headed dragons snapped in the wind. Rhaegar sought to cross the river, but Robert would not allow it. The armies surged into the waters, thousands of men crashing together in mail and plate, the current turning red around them. War cries echoed across the ford, swallowed by the roar of steel. Robert's voice boomed above the chaos, commanding, roaring like a storm given flesh. On the rebel left, Dornish spears under Prince Lewin Martell pressed hard, threatening to turn the flank. Lord Corbray fell wounded amidst the crush, but his son, Sir Lyn Corbray, seized his father's Valyrian steel blade, Lady Forlorn. With it, he led a furious charge into the Dornish line. Steel flashed silver in the river light as men and horses crashed together. Lewin Martell fell in the melee, slain amid the press. The flank had held, but elsewhere, the battle only deepened. Across the ford, knights carved their legends into flesh. Sir Barristan Selmy cut down a dozen men loyal to Robert and Ned Stark, moving through the battle like a white-clad reaper. Lord Jason Mallister slew 3 of Rhaegar's bannermen beneath the river banners. The fighting at the ford became a savage crush of men and steel. Water exploded beneath trampling horses, spray and blood mingling as blades rose and fell in relentless rhythm. Men slipped in the churning current and vanished beneath the press, dragged down by armor too heavy to escape the river's pull. Others were cut down where they stood, their bodies carried away by the rushing water. The Trident roared around them, swallowing the fallen without mercy. Yet for all the valor, for all the slaughter, the battle's fate did not rest with common steel. It rode at the center, 2 men searching for one another through chaos, one fighting for vengeance and the woman he loved, the other for crown, prophecy, and the fragile future of his house. They found each other in the shallows. Robert Baratheon and Prince Rhaegar Targaryen, the rebel lord in antlered helm, warhammer in hand, forged by Donal Noy, the dragon prince in rubied armor, bright as a living banner. They charged. Their first clash rang across the river. Hammer met sword, stag met dragon. Water exploded around them as their horses reared and plunged. Rhaegar fought with grace and deadly precision, each stroke measured, deliberate. His blade struck Robert more than once, cutting through mail, drawing blood. The rebel lord staggered in the saddle as steel bit into his arm and side, the river running darker around him. For a heartbeat, it seemed the dragon might prevail. The battle surged around them, men screaming, horses colliding in the ford. And in the chaos, Rhaegar's blade swept wide, striking Robert's mount. The wounded horse screamed and collapsed beneath its rider, throwing the rebel lord hard into the cold waters of the Trident. Robert rose from the river like a storm given flesh. With a roar that carried over the clash of armies, he rushed forward and swung his hammer with crushing force. The blow struck Rhaegar's horse square in the chest, sending the prince crashing down into the river beside him. Now the two men stood in the rushing current. Again and again they struck at each other in the shallows, hammer and sword ringing as the water churned red around their legs. Rhaegar's blade flashed like silver lightning, quick and deadly, while Robert's hammer fell like thunder, each strike capable of ending the fight in a single blow. Men nearby slowed their fighting, drawn by the sight, as if the rest of the battle had narrowed to this single contest. But Robert fought like a man who had already lost too much to fall here. At last, he brought the hammer down with all the weight of his rage. The blow crushed Rhaegar's chest. Rubies burst from the prince's armor, scattering like drops of blood across the river stones. The ford would be named for them, the Ruby Ford. And with Rhaegar's fall, the dragon's heart broke. For a moment, the battle did not understand what had happened. Steel still rang, men still shouted. Then the cry began to spread. "The prince is dead!" The royal banners wavered. Some knights fought desperately around Rhaegar's fallen body, refusing to believe it. Others looked toward the ford and saw the rubies glinting in the shallows. There was no rallying cry, no second command strong enough to hold them. Then they broke. Leaderless, the king's army faltered beneath renewed rebel assault. Men who had fought fiercely moments before cast down shields and fled toward King's Landing. Lord Walder Frey arrived only after the fighting was done, banners of the twins appearing on the horizon as the royal host collapsed. From that day forward, Lord Hoster Tully would name him what the realm remembered, the late Lord Frey. Sir Barristan Selmy, wounded by arrow, spear and sword, fought on until he could no longer stand. He was brought before Robert, bleeding, near death. Some urged execution, but Robert spared him. Mercy in the midst of ruin, and the Trident belonged to the rebels. By dusk, the river ran thick with blood and broken armor. The rebellion had found its victory, not in siege or slow starvation, but in a single, thunderous blow. Rhaegar Targaryen lay dead beneath the waters. Within weeks, King's Landing would fall. Aerys, the second Targaryen, would die by a blade meant to protect him, and Robert Baratheon would take the Iron Throne. Nearly 3 centuries of Targaryen rule ended at the Trident. But the victory did not end the dragon's story. Across the narrow sea, a young princess would grow into a queen. In the north, a secret would sleep beneath snow and silence. The battle that crowned a stag also scattered embers that would one day burn again. Maesters would say the Battle of the Trident ended a dynasty. They would say it was the moment the dragons died. Yet the river remembers otherwise, and when it runs red at dusk, men say the rubies still gleam beneath the current. As if the Trident remembers the day a hammer shattered a prince and changed the fate of Westeros forever.